All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Today is August 6, 2024. The time is 9:30. This is your tax planning and zoning committee.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Parkinson? Yes. Ducat?
Yes. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve? So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. A motion for the claim.
I had a question on our GIS expense was way above what our budget was by 10 times. And I didn't know what took place, if that was part of the
You guys
flyover.
the flyover,
Was that thrown in that bucket then?
probably. I mean, it has to come out of that line.
Part of it
but then-
was 100,000 of it came out of that, and then the rest came from that ARPA. I mean,
Right.
but that was 100,000. It
Right.
may have been over, and I don't have it in front of me.
Well, that's fine.
Okay,
I wondered about that, but I thought I'd better ask.
Also, when I started, all of 23 didn't get mapped and done and sent to Bruce Harris, so originally it got put on 24. I asked Jill to put it on 23 because it really should have been a 23, so I don't know, well, I can see exactly what you're referring to. It's probably one of those two things, so.
Uh,
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. No, second. Any further questions? Comments?
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Parkinson? Yes. Ducat?
Yes. Any public comments today? Anyone? Bueller? Okay, moving forward, we'll go ahead and get reports from the departments. Our county clerk up first.
Okey-doke, so we are once again waiting on software updates. I feel like I'm always waiting on software updates. But we are waiting on software updates so we can send out the permanent vote by mail notices that have to go out to everyone that is not signed up for a permanent vote by mail ballot. The first day that we can mail them is on the 7th. And we can't just take a verbal, don't send me that. So what we're waiting on is a little checkbox with I do not want to sign up for permanent vote by mail. So a voter can mark that and sign that. And then we can stop sending as many out. But right now, the only options that are on it are sign me up for all elections or sign me up for elections that do not require a party designation. So we're waiting for that little checkbox to get put on there because we have had a lot of people that are upset about the permanent vote by mail notices, which unfunded mandate, why wouldn't we be upset about it, right? Like sending those out before every general election, it just is asinine. But they had a law where it was supposed to be in front of every consolidated election as well. So that would have been double the mailing. So thank God we don't have that. Anyway, waiting on that software update. At the end of the month, I'm going to be conducting a LEO training. It's a local election official training for all clerks of local municipalities and park districts, fire districts. They will be the people that are required to do the filing for the candidates in their specific district. So I just want to, we used to do these classes like long time ago. And since then, I mean, we have several clerks that are still doing the classes or that are still doing the clerk position, but several new clerks. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands what they're supposed to be doing. So those classes are going to be held at the end of the month. Circulation for petitions for the consolidated will start on August 20th. So you'll see people sending those around soon, I'm sure. So school districts, townships, villages, fire park, I can't think of anything else. So those will all be being circulated soon. Early voting will begin in my office on September 26th. That's when all vote by mail ballots will go out, well, on or about, for anyone that signed up for the permanent vote by mail ballot. So those will be going out soon. Then I spoke in my budget hearing about election grant information. That's the other software I'm still waiting on an update. They haven't gotten their glitch figured out in our reporting system, so I'm not 100% sure of the awarded funds as of this minute. So hopefully before finance will have it, but I don't know. And that's about it.
Questions? Thank you, Samantha.
Yep.
Move on to our treasurer.
We're still processing tax payments that are coming by mail and that will pay the banks. And we're hoping to, well, we are gonna be doing our first distribution by Friday. So the local governments and county too will be getting the half of their tax levy that they left out in this first distribution. So, other than that, I don't have anything else.
Questions for Kurt? The only statement I'll make is our amazing governor has went ahead and exactly this. He went ahead and ended the grocery tax.
You may not have been here, that doesn't affect us.
I totally agree. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, but I mean, it only affects, so like, unless we have a grocery store outside the city limits,
Right.
yeah.
It's going to affect the municipalities.
Right, it only affects them.
Putting that out, we're still the most taxed state in the country.
Still a little bit.
What a great guy. All right, we'll move on to assessments. Yeah.
I don't have much to report. We still have a few CFEs coming in, most of which are adding exemptions, most of which are seniors that turn 65, that this is their first time being eligible for them. Just a little bit of an update in regard to the GIS that we discussed last week. I have reached out to 3 companies and I'm working with them. It's Cloud Points as well and Schneider Beacon. So that's still an ongoing process to get a cost proposal from them, maybe see if I can sit down with Alan over in Highway and if he can find a use for GIS and kind of join funds to maybe pay for that. So that's what I'm looking at getting done. Hopefully I'll have a better report on that by next committee meeting. I'm interested in, and I'll just throw it out at the meeting, and receiving, information from, I don't know if it comes from a little bit of Brianne's office or the treasurer, but so that I can see exactly what GIS special fund fees I'm supposed to be getting every month, because right now it's kind of, yes, I don't really know what it is, so what kind of report I can get.
We
I mean,
prepare a
it's-
board report every month that we can forward to you.
Okay, so just so that I can see, because that's coming from recorded documents. in
But then you
Brianne's
also need the
office.
treasurer's report to show what's being taken out of it, because that's where
The
We
confusion, there
have a
seems to be some
mistake.
confusion. Yeah, Brianne brought it to my attention that I had $13,000 that I
it
wasn't being.
7,800.
Oh, 7,800, okay, so there was money that I wasn't able to, I mean, I didn't even know, I didn't get it because I get no reports for it, so. And then the last thing, it was discovered, last week or the week before, that there was a parcel that was gonna be sold at tax sale for drainage, so for a minimal amount. After doing some investigating, there's a building that's half on that and half on the adjacent parcel. I pulled it from the tax sale because I felt it was in the county's best interest to do so. The building wasn't being assessed, the property was classed wrong. It's a whole gamut of a mess, so I just thought it was in the best interest to pull it from the sale.
That's beauty, right?
And yeah, oh, absolutely, so. That's all I have.
Any questions from here? All right. Thank you. We're going to move on to you, planning and zoning.
So the first thing we have is we have Gabriel Hartung here.
His property is currently zoned at B1. It's been B1 for a gamut of years because once upon a time there was a bar there, and I believe his existing house was actually built onto the bar. And then one of his neighbors actually told me that there was also once upon a time a go-kart business there. So we just need to move forward to get his home from B1 to RH1 so that he can build a new home because his existing home is in disrepair, and it would be just more cost effective to build a new home rather than fixing his existing. And Gabriel, do you have anything to add to that?
That's probably it.
This is in Mackinac.
It's Pepperell Township.
The address is
It's
St. Anne.
on Route 1. Yeah.
I started to figure out where it
My
was.
closest, I'm on Route 1 in Pepperell Road, and my closest neighbor is maybe a quarter mile down the road. It's pretty much kind
He was right there before.
But we didn't have enough ZBA members for a quorum, once again. And although we feel it's just pretty standard to make this change so that he can do what he needs to do on his property.
I'll make a motion and then we change that address to RH1 from the existing people.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Parkinson, Ducat.
Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Gabriel. That's all we need.
Gabriel, you'll have Tuesday's meeting.
next to.
Yeah, at 9 AM.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ready for building permits?
Building code work.
That should be done, right?
I know.
That was my confusion because all of that was signed the 11th of June. All of the building code ordinances,
We move from that.
yes.
Okay.
I printed those and brought it just to make sure in case anyone needed their memory refreshed.
We want to go over the building permit report.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, for the month of July, we had 6,508 in fees collected out of straight building permits, but with the solicitors and kennel fees and all of that, we wound up with, gosh, that's small, sorry, $7,258.81. For the year, we are at $74,659 collected. And the only other thing that I have that is an issue is, we are desperate in need of zoning board of appeals members. I cannot get enough to have a quorum. And this is going to be a bigger issue down the road for things that we have coming. I have even in the past had something posted on our website and still we are shy. And that's even with me getting Richard as our newest member, we're still, I cannot have enough. I need a minimum of 2 additional members.
What areas are
Right.
we looking for?
Basically everywhere, because I'm pretty sure that come the end of the year, Wayne is going to no longer be available as well, because he's moving. So that means I need 3 members. Yeah, I'm, basically the entire county's over.
Okay.
That's what we're going to go down to 16. We need 5 members for that.
I mean, I'm worried how we're going to step through the steps of justice that we're supposed to be without these members.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, then we are going to move on to discussion and action on the wind ordinance. It's going to get long-winded, and I might pass around for everybody to read this. I want everybody to hear what's going on, just in case we're missing something, or somebody has some questions. Is that okay with this board?
You can read it.
I think I'm gonna have to because, yeah. Everybody's got it in advance. Right. But
It's hard to comprehend. Pat, you might have some questions.
if you'd rather talk about it, I'm okay with not reading, trust me.
Yeah. If
I
anybody
don't want
has-
to hear my voice over and over. As everybody else here. Yeah,
Well, so
we can start that,
have
I'm
not
good with that.
read all of this page by page. It's
Yeah.
going to take some time to do that, but I just had a couple of general questions and comment. So one of the things that I noticed is in here, we had fees specified. Is that typical? Is that how we do that? That the fees are by ordinance versus referring to a fee sheet or something that's adopted?
Right.
So if we want to change a fee, it has to go through an ordinance change?
Yeah. That way the whole board knows what's going on, it wouldn't be just,
It could possibly be a text amendment.
But it's still a change.
I've just
in the
seen
order.
sometimes where it's
Right, yeah.
referred to a fee sheet and then that's
and this would be,
managed and.
as I believe John said many times, speed ever evolving. Uh, The fees will always change, just because the way the economy is.
Another question or comment that I had is that in the applicant's information for these, there was a reference to being the structure of the business. There's a term that's being commonly referred to, I think is what we're really getting at, of beneficial ownership.
Okay.
So an example of that would be, Steve and I have an LLC, and we call it, SK LLC. So we say we're an LLC. Well, we might have other owners that are in the LLC that could go multiple levels.
Okay.
So if you ask for beneficial ownership, the company has to give you every one
A
of
full
their
list.
ownership structures, and then all of the owners of that have over 25% ownership interest. So it gets you to who the real owners are.
What's the benefit though? Because
Well, I was wondering why we were asking, I assume that's why we're asking to
we
begin
wanted to
with.
know who the facility owner was gonna be, the entity. The federal ID number of the entity that is upon it,
Okay,
and not necessarily the family history, but where we're gonna send the bill, the invoices, and expect payment, et cetera.
so
Communication.
So if there's call it a shell LLC that has multiple LLC owners, we don't really care about who they are if we just want to know.
There's nothing we can turn somebody down because of, their political preference, or there's nothing we can really do with,
Okay.
we're asking for financial proof that they can finish what they've started.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that by latching on to that entity, they can provide proof. And it might be that they go to.
They have to go to the other ownership.
See, we're having that now with the solar farm being proposed in the Buckby area. That has just changed, as I understand it, just changed hands, correct?
Yes.
And so that needs, all our paperwork and all of our, now needs to be changed to say who that owner is, and that is a shell with no background, no history of financial records. So our intent is that somebody needs to step forward and say they can fulfill the financial obligation of this project. But it's whoever name on that application is who's going to be held accountable for any expenses.
So the federal government is now asking every entity in the United States to report their beneficial owners, so they have that. So it's not uncommon
Mhm.
for somebody to be asked that question right now because it's being required. And so at least that gets you to where the money might be coming
But-
from, or
I guess I just don't see,
we don't care.
well, I just don't see the benefit. I ran across a firm that's got 47 tributaries. Okay? I mean, how does it affect us? It doesn't. It's just who is gonna pay us the money, and if there's an issue, you know, where do we go singularly to get it taken care of? You know what I mean?
End of the day, we-
So that's the only concern is their financial capability.
Well, and the communication of if there's a question or concern, you know, the wind, we're talking about wind, if there's a noise complaint, which place, we don't want to get in that show game where they say, well, Tommy over there, I think takes care of that, and then Bree said, well, no, it's Bob over there. No, it's, you know, buck stops at that one door. So it's the intent, or maybe that's incorrect.
I'd rather have one person to go to instead of playing the name that tune. Does that make sense, what we're going after?
If that's all, if that's the only concern is who the contact person is, yeah.
I would expect the person that is numero uno in charge, or whoever this shell company is, they'll be able to immediately address it and take care of it because they don't want to be held responsible.
That's all I have right now.
Well, hope it makes sense, though, the accountability, I guess, is what we're talking about. The government has other reasons, because they want to be able to latch on to maybe different assets or track things, and they like to have this beneficiary list. But,
It's really to know who you're dealing with, you know, because you can get a long ways in a group of companies before you get to an actual individual. Because these companies don't have to have owners, don't have to have employees.
right. Yeah, and well, I guess in our application process, it should be somebody has to write a name down there, contact name down there. And that person has to be commutable with us, you know. and-
The front end.
So they're gonna be held responsible.
Yeah,
Well, if they do it right, it could be a signature block that goes 2 or 3 deep before you get to a person. Because you can have LLCs own an LLC and none of them have, until you get to an actual human being, you could go many layers deep, so.
right. We'll have to cross that bridge, I guess, if we run into that issue.
Yeah.
So far, we've always had, you know, a person we could see or talk to or this or that. I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah.
I think one thing, I think Kathy makes a good point, but I think one thing to remember also though is that if there are any issues that are not resolved to our satisfaction, it falls under the default clause in the ordinance, and we have the right to shut the facility down. And that is gonna be a pretty crippling action on the part of whoever the facility owner is. So it's a compelling reason for them to comply.
Yeah, and just overall,
No, I think it was speaking.
I think the methodology, that's been addressed in each of these is, you know, straight on as to kind of what the current thinking is and making sure that we're protected and I think that the committee, such that it was, did an excellent job of putting these together, so.
Sure did.
So thanks to you guys for all the hard work and research and everything you did to make this come together. Good job.
You dropped it off at your house. Was there any questions that you had?
I just wondered, some of these, in each report, there was a yellow highlighted, a little segment of it.
It was a wording to do with permits
Yeah,
and the definition of what's gonna be taken back after years of non-movement. If they've got a, conditional use permit, which is the first step, and then they need to apply for a building permit.
oh, I see.
So that might need to be better spelled out. I just use the word, or we just use the word permits. But if the committee thinks or suggests we should specifically say your conditional use permit and building permit will be void, versus the word permits.
Okay, I just didn't know why it's highlighted that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
To say all permits.
Okay. Does that make more sense to people to say all?
I think so,
Works.
because then you don't have to, because there are a number of different types referred
Of
to.
course, there's gonna be other permits though in this process that we don't have as much control over, and we can't say they're void. Like any of your road use permits are done by outside entities that we can't void a road use permit that they pay to the township or to the state for wide or heavy loads.
So under the control of the county or.
Yeah, that's not under the control of the county.
Issued by the county, I think permits issued by, all permits issued.
So that's why I was hesitant to use the word all permits.
Just say all county permits.
Yeah.
County issued permits. And which section do you
That's
know?
That's gonna be, of the wind, it's gonna be
It
in.
was on page 16.
Thank you.
About halfway down there.
It's under
Yeah,
section 7. Also, the other one is talked about in the height of the fence. In the original ordinance or most recent ordinance, we have 8 to 25 feet tall for a fence. And so it was discussed about, do we really need to limit the height of the fence? And so we've taken out the 8 to 25 feet and just say at least 8 foot tall.
that makes sense too.
So we can highlight the yellow to bring it to your attention.
The better issue will be to have the vegetation and the trees that go around it. They'll actually block it.
You have to have both.
Correct.
Good job, guys, on this on all these.
That's in the solar and.
That'd be
That's
super
a
high
good,
trees.
that was just working on that. So it's actually good. Yeah, good wording.
If they can pull those trees off, I wanna see them. Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure this out. Yeah, all county issue. Yeah.
I'd like to butt in if I could.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit short on time lately, and I actually started, I get some from your list, I started backwards and did the battery storage ordinance first. I did not have time to get into the wind and the solar to see if all the changes that you and I have talked about are in there and so forth. But one of the biggest things that I found in the battery storage ordinance that I thought we ought to change had to do with the monies that are coming in. We talk about cashier check, we talk about financial assurance and so forth. We need to put in there that the cashier's check is payable to Iroquois County.
Okay,
A lot of cases, whether it's, you're talking about financial assurance in the form of a cashier's check, it's gonna be put into escrow. I don't want a check that says payable to the LLC or somebody else, it's gonna be payable to Iroquois County.
under our definition, it's a financial assurance is cash and escrow deposited in an account that is held by the county treasurer of the Iroquois County as a beneficiary with a financial institution that is located in Iroquois County.
Right.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just trying to
Well,
say,
but that doesn't say what the check is made out to.
well, the cash is in escrow deposited, would that not? That makes sense or not? If it's deposited in an account that is held by the county treasurer of Iroquois County,
Yeah, that's the end result. I think John's asking, well, how does it get there? And make sure we can
There's
get it there.
other checks that are not gonna be put in escrow as well, like the application fees, the building permits and so on. Several places.
I see where you're going from there, right,
That I
okay.
found, and we can go through when we get there, but.
Nope.
I'm just bringing it up because through wind and solar first, I apologize that I didn't have enough time to go
No problem.
through and double check all those things. I know you and I had talked about them in detail on numerous occasions.
Just like we settled on this phrase that Kathy helped us with on permits, what do we want to say?
It's just a little bit more, but it clarifies things beyond any possible misinterpretation.
That's fair, we don't want that. So a check's made payable to,
On page 9, on the application fees, I think
of
it's,
what, of the
it's,
wind?
yeah, on the wind, I think it states that already, that the applicant must submit a cashier's check to Iroquois County for the conditional use permit.
But it should say payable to
Okay.
Payable to,
Yeah, just one word makes a big difference. You're right.
So then on the battery ordinance, it would be on page 6.
well, there could be other places throughout the whole document before we need to get this cleaned up, so.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's on page 13 in the battery ordinance.
But there's gonna be other places, like you mentioned, John, where we talked about the vendor needs to reimburse us. That check's gonna be needed to be paid out. Same thing.
Same thing, that's,
Throughout the whole,
Yeah.
we can find them and change them.
that's on page 18. Page 25. Battery ordinance.
So basically, where it says the word check, we need to add payable.
You know. I just heard it, yeah.
I guess you could probably include it in the definition section, but again, in the interest of clarification, eliminate any possible misunderstanding. is probably better.
Right.
And one of the reasons besides being clarifying, Bill had an interesting experience recently with an individual who ran afoul of the law enforcement in the county, and dog was taken in, and when he came in to pay the cost, it was all in pennies. Jill had to count all those pennies up. And I think there's a lesson there that we have it clearly stated how it should be and how we want it to be. And not have some crazy idiot come along and pull some pennies.
Probably at that point, claims order. Run through there and get it packaged and done.
I happened to come into Jill's office one morning and there she is counting pennies. So what in the world is going on?
I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure that if he said Jill was doing it, that,
Peaceful until Jill starts throwing things.
yeah.
There's nothing in our paperwork, rules, regulations, whatever.
It is
And if
legal
they have
tender
fines for
stuff.
animal control, you can pay it all in pennies. Nickels or dimes or whatever. It's all-
Oh,
Anticipate somebody coming in here with a cashier check or an obligation for $5,000 with that all in pennies. If they had run afoul of us and wanted to either, they could do it, yeah.
Here now. For everywhere it says what kind of permits for cashier's check. You only say afterwards, let's go over it.
I don't know what I'm not trying to be smart when I say this, I don't know what we need to do here, because the document's gonna change after the committee has made these suggestions. I don't know how the committee's gonna be able to recommend it to the board. We need to continue going through it, make changes, and the next committee meeting, then present a final draft.
What we can do is go through it, find out anything else needs to be corrected as of today, and then we can actually vote on it at the county board meeting. Yes.
In everybody's defense, not everybody's been able to go through
Correct.
90 pages of documents, so I just,
I don't see why going through it today, whatever you want to make, you've already talked about a number of changes and corrections. Make those and present that, you can do all that today and that goes to the board.
Okay. As long as John's good with that.
then I don't know if we need to read it like all proposed, so that we try to catch all the boo-boos.
All of us will do.
That was the reason I did this with the storage ordinance. I went through it all and wrote down all the things that I thought.
Right. Well, not everybody had a chance to get through all 3 documents.
Well, I didn't, that's what I said.
Right.
I mean, you want to, however you want to do it, but
So,
I don't want to.
if you agree on all the changes you want to be made today, any reason that can't be put into the document, presented at the board meeting next Tuesday. On the other hand, if you would rather make the changes, just put in the documents and then bring them back next month and review them again and say, yeah, this is the way we want it, and then we have it approved. Delaying it by 1 month, I don't know if that's gonna.
I just don't want to ram it through and have people not have a chance to digest.
That's what I said, if you want to
Well, we
wait
can
till
also-
next month, you're not creating a national emergency by doing this.
We can also just have a special meeting. to take care of this. In between now and next month's meeting.
It's the pleasure of the committee. Well, it is,
But I would appreciate a little more
Well,
time, like.
So why don't we just do a special meeting between now and next month's meeting? So if we run into any more problems while we're at that meeting.
let's pick a date for that.
Yeah.
If you got a chance, John was nice to wrote some stuff down, definitely in the battery. Would we have time to go through what's already been written down and make those changes, and we're that much further ahead on discussion? Well, it's not that late today, if this is last.
That's why I was gonna read it, and I didn't wanna read it, but.
Yeah.
We'll just set out within the whole group, if we have a problem, we can talk about it, discuss it. I don't wanna read it. Because I don't wanna repeat it at Tuesday's meeting then
Spend
too.
hours reading it and going over it and still find things we don't want to change. That's why it's always gonna be a work in progress.
Right.
On the other hand, to me, having each individual go through it and read it and write it down and then get together, I think that's the best way.
Take these home and read it over, if any questions, write them down.
As long as everybody commits to doing it, that's bottom line. It's gonna take some time, there's no two ways about it.
So one thing I noticed, is that we have defined terms, but later when we use those defined terms, we don't capitalize them. And generally, if you have something that's defined and then you use it in lowercase later, you didn't really mean that, you meant the generic version
Good
of
point.
that. So that's something I noticed,
I tried to catch that, and I didn't.
there's a lot.
Okay, well, let's bring that up, and I'll try to, since you, so capitalize all the definitions, so
When you mean them to be,
they are
referring.
used, they are, yeah.
because sometimes you can mean the generic version, and if you mean the generic version, then you can't use.
Okay, no problem.
Good point. Thank you.
When's everybody gonna have a chance to get through this thing? Cause I'd rather not wait till the day before the next committee meeting to look at this. There next week?
I've been through, roughly through.
Do you have any questions, comments?
No, I think it's doing a good job.
Still. Then can we take a day?
Sorry, I was reading.
This is gonna be in Cancun or
Yeah, that
St.
sounds
Lucia, or is it gonna be? I mean,
Probably here, I would assume.
wrong answer, right?
Oh. Going to go to camp. No hurricanes.
It's, yeah, I've heard it say some.
You were.
You know, next Thursday morning,
No.
that'd be Tuesday, but this is, we said Thursday, I think.
Tuesday's the 13th, so you're thinking of.
The 15th, but yeah, I just threw that
Yeah, I
out.
got another question for you. How's everybody the rest of the week? Friday. Not like-
I've got a, that's, yeah.
I'm just trying to help you
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
Even Thursday, still 48 hours.
Well, no, people are gonna be brain dead after the board meeting.
You mean,
Tuesday. We're gonna be
All
brain
right.
dead after the board meeting? You are?
I'm good. He might be.
A lot of pressure.
We got some more, I don't know the right word to describe them, but we have some more unusual people that.
A good chairman limits it to
2
seconds, right?
You got 2 minutes.
Yes, but I already gave one group the permission to go a little beyond
Okay. Well,
that. I'm not sure where that's gonna go, but.
Challenging.
Well, I'll do it if necessary. There's others that I'm probably thinking about coming off Chicago. Or emails last night.
understand.
I'm gone, 14th, 15th, 16th. I won't be back till Monday.
How about then, if we look into that week, Monday the 19th? Let's got these. Correct calendar.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, I know it's a Tuesday morning I have, meetings from 8 to 10. and That's on maybe Monday, the 19th.
Would work. This has to be a published meeting, correct? So if we let Amanda know, are you available the 19th of Monday, the 19th of August?
Morning or afternoon?
Morning, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
You think you're okay, and you know you're okay. John, are you okay on that day?
Wrote it down.
Can you verify and let
Sorry.
us know? That's okay.
I'm gonna ask for 9:30. Just kidding, I promise you that.
You owe us donuts.
The old donuts from Casey's, sure.
Oh, you said it.
Let's see here.
9:30?
And in this room, we need to make sure this room's available.
What date did you guys say?
Monday, August 19th, 9:30.
All right, thank you.
I will. Give you my copy. Fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Because you're gonna need to see what I find anything plus like I didn't even think about, thank you for the capital.
Yeah.
And all the definitions, I didn't even think about that.
The other thing I can do is if you send it to me, how about if I scan it and send it to the other members?
That's fine too.
That way they can digest it and we're not overwhelming everybody with, is
I'm good with that too.
that fair?
Do you have it, and do you want changes in words so you can read them better than the scribbles that we put in the margin?
Well, yeah, it's whatever you do. I can send it out as a Word, but most people I send it out through Word, when they open it up, it isn't in the Word document that I have.
Then we'll have another issue where it goes
Oh,
black,
yeah.
the screen goes black.
But I think that's maybe that person down there doing that, when I, you know, did you print it out at all?
This print out just fine.
Or no,
But I printed from.
did it say
yeah,
draft on it?
Probably,
Did
then,
it say draft on it?
I don't know.
So anyway, we'll solve it.
Oh, you mean didn't have draft on every page?
yeah.
No.
There was a problem with somebody trying to, the draft area was black and therefore it couldn't.
Oh. It's the opacity of the, yeah, just put it at like 45%, and that looks pretty well.
Anyway,
Are we good with that? Everyone? John?
Yes.
I'll change this things for today.
For today, you have to read.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I did not want
I
to.
thought maybe you needed another week to practice reading faster.
Obviously, you've been watching the YouTube videos. Anything further? Doug, you got anything?
I think we're there.
All right, so my plan is I will. I can go through it. Up to you.
That's fine.
We get moving on. I'll look for all those capitals, but I didn't.
Oh, I can do that. That's not a big deal. Well, but yeah, go ahead and do it.
They're gonna have two of us and one of us just.
Whatever the law is.
Right.
Fair.
All right, so there's nothing else on this? Julie? Hold off till we get it revised again. All right, then we're gonna move on to old business. Any old business? Any new business?
We need to update our website a little bit or get some of the stuff cut out of there that doesn't.
I don't have access, Jill does everything on the
So
website.
if you just talk to her, she'll do it.
Right.
So you need to give her some asks or whatever like that, because there's some stuff in there that doesn't meet, solar ordinance isn't correct. That's in there, because we're changing it, so we might not publish the wrong one. It seems like there's a few things that need to be spruced up on it.
Just like the July, we take care of the website.
Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah, you want me to remove stuff? Absolutely, I'll take it off.
Well, I mean, you can use common sense on the website and make the updates and changes and this. Probably the wind farm application isn't correct either.
I would think if you have something really for anything going forward on that, hopefully Doug could send you something that you can see it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always open to suggestions, absolutely.
All right. Anything else? Motion. Wow. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Means adjourned.